What night is it, Georgia?
It's pizza night.
So you making your own pizza?
Yeah.
You gonna put more sausage on that?
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, she ate a little. And then put it on there. Hi, this is Howard, and welcome to Get Fit, Stay Fit in the Kitchen. Now tonight's introduction is a little bit different because we're going to be using a book called The Sneaky Chef. And so there are 3 parts to making this pizza. First, we have to make a puree that she uses of vegetables that you put in your, whatever you're making, in this case pizza. Then second, we're going to make a pesto sauce because we're making a pesto pizza. And we'll probably use that portion of the video for another episode too, because pesto sauce is good for several things, not just pizza. And then we will actually make the pesto pizza. So that's the 3 parts. First I'm going to show you how to make the puree. And if you listen at the end where I talk about the book, you'll understand more why we're doing a puree. And then we will do the pesto sauce, and then we'll combine it on top of the pizza. And you can use store-bought pizza crust, or you can make your own, which we have a link to the bottom to our video that shows you how to make pizza crust. So let's get started. Okay, in this first part I am going to tell you the ingredients for the green puree, or the puree, and then how we're going to do it. First, you need about 3/4 cups of raw spinach, 3/4 cups of broccoli florette, and then 3/8 cups of sweet green peas. And what I did was do 1/4 of a cup and then 1/2 of a cup, and that's 3/8. And then we'll need some tablespoons of water. And what we're going to do is first we're going to steam the broccoli and spinach. Now you could do it on the stove if you want, but I'm going to put mine in the microwave for 8 or 10 minutes. And then the last 2 minutes I'm going to use the peas. And then after we do that, we are going to put everything in a blender and puree it. And as you puree it, you'll want to put, a tablespoon of water here and there, puree it, stop every once in a while, push everything down, and you want to puree it pretty smooth. And use water sparingly, but use it to smooth. I think last time I did it, it took about 1 to 3 tablespoons of water. So that is how we are going to make the puree. Okay, hopefully you have a better blender than me. I actually had to put it in this little chopper first and chop it up, and then I put it in the blender to puree it. But we have our green puree, so we will use some of that for the pesto, and then we'll use some of that for the actual pizza. So let's move on to the next step. Here is the ingredients for the pesto that we're fixing to make. First, we have some basil, and I just went to our local supermarket, bought a package, and just cut it off. I have a little bit less than she calls for, but I think it'll be okay. And then we have 1/2 cup of walnuts, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, a 1/2 cup of vegetable broth, some ground pepper, a 1/2 cup of our green sauce that we made in the previous section, and then we will also need a 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese, and then I don't have it here but I'm fixing to get it, is a 1/2 cup of either walnut oil or extra virgin olive oil, and I'll be using the olive oil. Okay, the first thing we will do is put the basil in the food processor, and we're going to just pulse it a few times. Okay, next we are going to add the walnuts, the garlic. Did I tell you we had garlic? There's 4 to 6 garlic cloves chopped. I have to go back and see, I'm not sure. Seems like I forgot that. And then also the salt and the lemon juice. And then lastly the vegetable broth, and we are going to just puree this. If this does not work well, I may actually put it in my big blender, but I think I'll be okay. So we're going to puree this now. I also forgot we need to add the green puree that we made a while ago to this pesto. Okay, I'm actually moving this to this because our next step is slowly adding the oil into the pesto. It says feed it through the tube, but with my blender I don't have a tube, so I'm just going to do like maybe a tablespoon or two at a time and blend it or puree it in there. And then the last step will be to add the Parmesan cheese and go ahead and puree that, and then we will have our pesto done. This is our pesto. I haven't tasted it yet, but it smells good. Okay, step 3 is we are going to take the 3/4 cups of pesto and the 1/4 cup of green sauce that we have from last time. We are going to mix them well. So I'm going to mix that real good. And that will be the base of our pizza. And then we have a cup of part skim, low fat, part skim mozzarella cheese. So we're going to mix this up real good, put it on the base. If you want to put anything else on it, you can. Some examples is like you can put pieces of roasted chicken, artichoke hearts, sliced tomatoes on it. I'm just doing the pesto and cheese tonight. But if you're going to put something else on it, put it on top and then put the cheese on. And I will show it to you before we put it in the oven. Okay, here is our pizza with the pesto as the base. And I decided to do half with mushrooms and pesto. Like I said, you could add something or just keep the pesto. Then all we have left is to put the cup of mozzarella cheese on it. Low fat, part skim mozzarella cheese. And then we're going to bake it in the oven for about 10 minutes. It's a little tricky since it is dough I made. I just have to check it after 10 minutes and make sure the dough's done good enough for us. But there is our pesto mozzarella half mushroom pizza. Here is the finished product of the pesto pizza. I left it in the oven about 15 minutes, and I probably left it in about 3 minutes too long. But it still looks good, it smells good, so we're going to cut it up and see how it tastes.
I'm eating pesto pizza and it's really good. It's very flavorful. I like everything about it. And I really like the thin crust. It's very flavorful. It's very savory.
Georgia, did you try Mommy's pizza?
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
It was pretty good, my pizza.
Was it better than your pizza?
Yeah. And it's, I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
So you give a thumbs up or thumbs down?